Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and the topic today is re-recordings. I know, kind of a controversial topic for a lot of people, and kind of me too, a lot of times. But as I was thinking about this, I realized there's more that I like than I had previously thought. So we're gonna get into that. Just first, quick, I want to give a shout out to One with the Riverbed. They're a local Kalamazoo band that I really like and have seen a few times. I would put them in the atmospheric black metal category with a lot of post rock, post black metal kind of influences in there. But they just put out a new album called Succumb, and it is out on Dusk Tone, which I believe is an Italian label. So I'll leave a link below so you can check it out. I'm in the unique position of I could probably walk to these guys' houses, so I don't really feel like spending international shipping on it. So I've just been listening to it online for now. They're playing in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping they'll have copies there, and I can just grab one from them. Plus, then the money goes right to them. So, but if you're overseas, it's probably a lot cheaper for you to pick it up. So I'll leave a link for that below. I've only listened to it a couple times, but very good, very very good. So highly recommended. So the impetus for this topic was this album. I put the OB in there so you can't see the whole name, but obviously it's Diamond Head. Lightning to the Nations 2020. So this is a re-recording of their classic album, probably their only classic album, but just such a monumental release. 80 or 81, I think. I'm seeing different dates for it. This is the 2001 Sanctuary reissue. It's all white, and the name is embossed on there, and then inside kind of a recreation of the original cover. Though I think the original cover only like one person signed. They printed a bunch of white covers, and then one of them would sign them. So I don't think there's a version with all four signatures, but they just did that for this release. So this one has 7 bonus tracks, kind of all the singles, B-sides, EP tracks, etc. that weren't on the album. The remaster is a little harsh to me, but it's a worthy. Yeah, it's not showing up at all. There you go. Anyway, so I'm sure most people already know. I hate saying everybody knows this because some people don't, but very very famous for being a huge influence on Metallica. Metallica in their early days would cover tons of Diamond Head songs in their shows, and nobody knew who Diamond Head was, so they could kind of just pass the songs off if they wanted to. I also have this version of it. This came out on Metal Blade in '92. Also says it was remastered, but it sounds a bit more like the original sound. The strange thing about this, I haven't listened to this in so freaking long. I think it's Lightning to the Nations. The intro's cut off. Like they just started recording it late. I don't know. It very strange. But I also had the Behold the Beginning release on cassette, which is most of this plus some extra tracks, and it was remixed and everything. I was looking for that to show, but I can't find it. So that a lot of my cassettes just got dumped. So that might have got dumped, which is kind of a bummer. But anyway, yeah. So before I talk about this, I guess I just wanted to talk about why would a band do these re-recordings? So a lot of times it is seen as a cash grab, which I think probably a lot of times it is. Sometimes there are rights issues where they don't own the masters, so they want to have their own version that they can control and use for whatever they want. I guess probably the most famous example of that in the modern times is Taylor Swift when she lost her masters and now she's re-recording all her old albums. So there's that. Then there's some lineup changes, and the band feels strongly about the new lineup, and they want to reimagine their classic songs with the new lineup, things like that. I guess a good example of that is Anthrax, The Greater of Two Evils. This is during the John Bush era, where if you go back and read like interviews at that time, they're all in on John Bush. This is the best singer we've ever had. This is the best lineup we've ever had. And, from the title, The Greater of Two Evils, like this is the greatest of, between John and Joey, we choose John. So they recorded, most of a bunch of the Joey era stuff, and then some Neil Turbin ones too. Um, Kind of live-ish in studio. It's a fun release, and you could really see the integrity of Anthrax when they put this out. And then the very next thing they did was Sharon Osbourne dangled a few shekels in front of them, and they said, "Later, we're back with Joey." So I could never get into Anthrax after that. That just seemed way too scummy to me. I know they're not my friends. They don't have to be good people, but I just thought that was shitty. And then then they begged John to come back a few months later, and he was like, "Nah, I'm good." So there's that. What's another? Oh, rights issues. So my example I pulled for that was this. This is Best Sounds by Marillion. So this is intended to be a greatest hits kind of release for South America, for their South American tour. The problem is they did not have the rights to use any of their material they did while they were on EMI. So they had to re-record a few things. Cover My Eyes, Easter, Kaylee, and Beautiful were all re-recorded. Kind of the only thing of interest for this is having a studio version of Steve Hogarth singing Kaylee. I guess the band wasn't real happy about doing this. They kind of didn't really talk about it too much. They did end up putting copies on their website, and that's where I got one, but I don't think it's even up there anymore. But yeah, the other ones, they, much like the Taylor Swift, they're just trying to recreate the original. They're not trying to do anything different, because if they could have used the original, they would have. So that's kind of a nice curiosity from Marillion, but definitely not an essential thing to have. What else? I don't know if you call this a cash grab or not. I kind of felt like it was. Burzum, From the Darkest Depths, from the Depths of Darkness, excuse me. So this is not an album re-recording, but just a re-recording of his classic songs from the pre-prison era, put out in 2011. This is one I do not like at all. Jeez, we're glaring big time today. There is something to be said for the atmosphere of the original recordings, the sound of it, and while I don't think that it's a really case-by-case basis, but with something like Burzum, where the production and the atmosphere was so important, to kind of go back, 20 years later and redo these songs, it just the feeling isn't there. It's not the same. I never ever listen to this. If I want to hear these songs, I'll listen to the original recordings, but that's an example. All right, now here's where I'm going to make people mad, I think. People that watch my videos won't get mad, but so re-recording an album, obviously, brings up some hurt feelings, but sometimes I actually like the re-recording better, and it is the case with Bonded by Blood by Exodus. This is the reissue cover. I think that first cover is fucking stupid. That the evil babies, I don't know, I don't like it. But I was never that into this. Blasphemy again, I'm not that into Paul Bailoff's vocals. I think the sound is thin and shitty, and not in a charming way, just like these are cool songs, but I would just wish they sounded remotely heavier or better. So they re-recorded it with Rob Dukes in... I was counting on it being set on the back, and it does not say. Let's say mid-2000s. Whenever Rob Dukes was their singer. And it was called Let There Be Blood. I just think it sounds so much better. I like Rob Dukes' vocals better. I get it. If this album is important to you, this will seem like like blasphemy. But since I never had strong feelings about this, I just think this sounds way better. And a band that I have a bit more reverence for, Vader. This is the debut album, The Ultimate Incantation, released on Earache in 92. I really should have taken notes, you guys. Doesn't matter. Early 90s anyway. So then later, there's no date on this either. I'm going to say 2020. They put out this Dark Age. You can see the similarities in the covers, but this is a complete re-recording of the album. And again, I just think it crushes this one as far as musicianship and atmosphere and just heaviness. I just think this sounds way better. This always sounded real thin to me. I remember this was sitting in my local shop for over a year in the used bin, and every time I would kind of give it a chance, like, this kind of sounds like shit. And then when De Profundis came out, I was like, what the fuck? These guys rule. And I went back and got this. But the sound of this has never been that great for me. So I really do prefer the re-recording. And then there's kind of the more artistic reimagining of old material. And for that, I picked out a band I've shown so much. I'm sure everybody's sick of it. Nocturnal Mortem. This is their 96 demo, Lunar Poetry. And this is the 2021 re-recording / reimagining to Lunar Poetry. And the name's in Ukrainian, so I am not going to attempt to pronounce that. But these, they both stand as their own thing to me. Obviously, you can't recreate that mid-90s super lo-fi sound that they had back then. But they just took those songs on this and just totally reworked them, rearranged them, and made it sound like something that they would put out now. So I like this for what it is. It actually made my album of the year list that year. But it can't replace this. So in my opinion, you need both if you're a Nocturnal Mortem fan. All right. After all that long-winded nonsense, let's get back to what started this idea. Lightning to the Nations 2020. So how is it? I think it's great. I really like it. Obviously, you've got the modern production, and a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's too compressed. It's whatever. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not that hung up on that stuff. If it sounds good to me, then that's fine. It's way heavier sounding, and the lineup it's only Brian Tatler left, the guitarist. So new lineup, new singer, obviously. And I think they just knocked it out of the park with this. They did do a bit of rearrangement, like they cut out some of the middle section in Sucking My Love. I like how in metal you can just say that, like you can just say, oh yeah, they cut out the middle section in Sucking My Love, and nobody bats an eye. But like a normal person hearing that, like, wait, sucking my what? Anyway. So this is all 7 of the tracks from the original album, and then they added 4 covers at the end. No Remorse from Metallica, Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin, Sinner from Judas Priest, and Rat Bat Blue from Deep Purple. So kind of paying tribute to some of their influences, as well as, the band that made them famous, basically, with Metallica. A lot of butthurt with this one, I guess. I was looking at Metal Archives reviews. There's only a couple, but 2 of them both said that this is the second worst thing to happen in 2020. Get it? And said it sounds like Disturbed. I was like, no, it does not. Fucking calm down. I get it if you can't get past the re-recording aspect of this, but this isn't replacing the original. You can still buy the original. I don't know their motivation for doing this, other than maybe it was for money. I don't know, but I think they did a great job. So I got this on sale. This was something that I didn't rush out to buy, but I think if you find it for a good price and you're a Diamond Head fan, it's worth checking out, or at least give it a listen online, see what you think. Tell me I'm full of shit, that it does sound like Disturbed and I'm a poser. Checking the notes. Yeah, that's it, I think. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts about re-recordings. Oh, I did want to say, just kind of to call myself out, the Cavalera re-recordings of the early Sepultura stuff, I was outraged when they did that. But as you can see, I like plenty of re-recordings, so I don't know why I was even outraged. I haven't even listened to them in full. I think that struck me as a bit more cash grabby because they put out Bestial Devastation, the EP, and Morbid Visions at the same time. When they, you add up if you added them together, they would equal like 50 minutes, and they sold them separately for like $18 a piece. And that was like, no, I'm not getting on that train. So, and I think they did or are doing Schizophrenia. I really haven't paid attention, but I'm kind of not interested for now. But again, if I ran across it cheap, I'd probably pick it up because I'm collector scum. So yeah, that's it, guys. For real this time. And thank you for watching. And as always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.